Paul. Jesus said, Paul, or Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And Saul said, who was later known as Paul, who are you, Lord? He said, I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. Paul noted that he himself was what he called a lawbreaker. He said, as far as legalistic righteousness, as far as righteousness that comes from a law, faultless. For zeal, persecuting the church. He said, I was following my religion the way I was supposed to. I knew what Moses had said, and I knew what I was supposed to do. And yet he said, what I counted as profit, I now count as loss. He said, in fact, I count everything as loss, except for knowing Him, except for knowing Christ Jesus, for whom I have lost all things. And he said, I count them as rubbish, that I might gain Christ and be found in Him, not having a righteousness of my own that comes from the law. But he said he would drag off whole households and put them in prison, basically because they were Christians. I know we don't see ourselves in this, or you don't see you in this scenario. Since we're Christian, we say, we think that, well, he was Jewish. He was a Jew. Saul the Jew. And yet we find out even Christians were persecuting in Revelation their own church. But Saul said how he would drag off whole households, and that his zeal was persecuting the church. But he calls that rubbish. Jesus said to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? He gave full approval, he said, to Stephen's death. And what's the first thing he did? After he saw the light, heard the voice, went to Ananias and was baptized, he immediately went out. And the claim was the man that was persecuting us is now preaching the religion, is now preaching basically what he was persecuting against, knowing full well that he was forgiven of all he had done, becoming one of the greatest spokesmen, because Paul called himself the chief of sinners, because he knew he was forgiven. So you see, you can make the excuses you want to. You can say you don't understand, but the truth is you're not interested. A lot of people, many of you, aren't interested. But you can't make the excuse that you're too bad of a person, and you can't make the excuse that you're not forgiven. Saul immediately went out and started preaching against what he'd done before and on behalf of what he had persecuted previously.